There is this one stat that gets thrown around a lot. 90% of startups fail. We hear it, nod our heads, and move on. But if you pause for a second and really think about it, that number is terrifying. Behind that stat are real people. Founders who quit stable jobs, borrowed money, sacrificed sleep, health, and relationships, all for a dream that just didn't work out. And not because they didn't try hard enough, but because no one warned them about how and why things go wrong. That's what I want to talk about today. Not just why most startups fail, but what you can actually do to avoid becoming another cautionary tale. When most people start a business, it usually begins with a spark, an idea that hits you in the shower. You get excited, share it with a few friends, maybe even buy a domain name. And soon you are building a product that you believe the world needs. But here's the catch. You never really asked the world if it needed it. That's where the things start to fall apart. A lot of startups spend months building something in silence, perfecting the design, the code, the packaging, without talking to even 10 real users. And then launch day comes, and nothing. Silence, no traction, no response. Just a lot of anxiety and an empty inbox. What went wrong? It wasn't the idea, it wasn't the effort. It was the assumption that building something automatically means people will want it. Then comes the money part. Early stage founders often treat their startup like a funded company, hiring developers, designers, maybe even renting office space without a single paying customer. You watch the bank balance drop month after month, hoping that revenue will eventually show up. But in most cases, it doesn't, because sales and marketing weren't even thought about until after the product was built, and by then it's usually too late. And let's not ignore the emotional side. Founders get attached, we all do. You spend so much time with your product that it starts to feel personal. So when feedback comes in, or worse, when there's no feedback at all, it stings. And instead of adapting, many double down. They keep building features no one asked for, hoping that the next update will change everything. But it rarely does. And slowly, burnout creeps in, team loses faith, and that one exciting idea quietly becomes another failed startup. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. The founders who survive, they don't start with perfection. They start with a conversation. Instead of writing code, they start by asking real people, hey, what's something you're struggling with right now? And then they build from that struggle, not from imagination. They launch quick, messy even. A WhatsApp group, a Google form, a landing page, anything that helps them test the idea before wasting time and money. They don't chase funding, they chase feedback. They don't focus on scale until they are sure the idea actually solves a real problem. And most importantly, they stay open to criticism, to change. They treat feedback like data, not like personal attacks. Look, building a startup is hard. It's messy, it's exhausting, and most of the time it's lonely. But if you understand the common traps early, if you stay obsessed with your customer, not your code, if you focus on making something people actually need, you already have a better shot than most. The goal isn't to go viral. The goal is to stay alive long enough to figure it out. I'm Shashank and you're watching Demystify Startups. If this helped you in any way, share it with someone who is building something. And if you're serious about understanding the startup game, stick around. There's so much more to uncover. And hey, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.